All right, welcome to episode. Oh, I don't know what episode it is.
It's more.
I know.
Why can't we just do?
Because I don't know if it's going to be the first one we do. Welcome to the 15th Floor, a Radiohead podcast. I'm Scott. I'm a Gen Xer. This is my son Jacob, a Gen Zer. Gen Zer.
Yes.
In this podcast, what we do is we listen to Radiohead music, and I try to prove to my son that Radiohead is the greatest band of all time, and prove to all of you and explain why Radiohead is the greatest band of all time based on that song. And Jacob listens with a Gen Z ear.
Yeah.
And and gives it a score. Most of these songs Jacob has never heard before, and so he's reacting first time. I'm reacting as a fan who's heard it a zillion times, and my opinion's always right. So, frankly, that's how it is.
That's not how it is.
Today we're doing "There There." Now, here's the thing: we cannot say "There There" without thinking of The Simpsons when Reverend Lovejoy is comforting Bart, and you can just hear Reverend Lovejoy's voice. There, there.
Yep.
There, there. It's called There, There. The Bony King of Nowhere. That is, it's from Hail to the Thief from 2003, Radiohead's 2003 album. Hail to the Thief. Each of the songs have two titles. The secondary title, in this case, the Bony King of Nowhere, is not the title that it's generally known by. Hail to the Thief was a great album for me because after Kid A and Amnesiac, which were just departures, but great departures, Hail to the Thief at the time felt like Radiohead trying to stay on that departure, but also trying to tap into a little bit more of the melody-heavy stuff they were doing in the 90s. And since it's all good stuff, it's really a combination of what was great in the 90s versus what was great in the early 2000s for them, and they brought it together in Hail to the Thief. There There is one of the singles from them. What do you know about There There?
I know it is a song from Radiohead.
There There.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and listen to it, and we'll stop it throughout the song and tell you what we're thinking and tell you what you're hearing, and then we'll talk about it a little bit afterwards.
There, there.
There There. There's no way. The intro is awesome.
I like the intro. I think the intro, it gets you pumped up for the song. I think it gets you hyped.
Yeah, immediately.
Yep.
And so that is Phil Selway, of course, on percussion, but it's also Johnny Greenwood and Ed O'Brien, who are the guitarists. They are all on tom drums, and they're just boom, 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 and the guitar comes in, and that's Tom York on the guitar getting ready to sing. But I mean, if you're in a concert, you don't need this one's called There There. You know, you don't need that. You get those. You know exactly what's coming. This verse gets a lot heavier. The first verse, like the in pitch dark, I go walking in my landscape, broken branches trip in your landscape, broken branches trip me as I speak. I mean, that sounds like obstacles, but both of those phrases, there's always a siren singing you to shipwreck, a siren, a call to bring you into danger, and steer away from these rocks would be a walking disaster. Those are two warnings. Anyway, I think it gets a little darker, even though the mood hasn't changed yet, other than the background, where you can hear not solid background singing, but you can hear those voices. Don't reach out. Don't reach out. Just 'cause you feel doesn't mean it's there.
So, like you said, for the second verse, it's like they get darker without changing any, like how the instruments are played. They also did that for the second chorus, how they said the exact same things in the second chorus, but the someone on your shoulder background singers kind of makes it more spooky, sounds childish, but like, yeah, kind of creepy in that sort of way.
One of the things I've always liked about There is comforting talk. The rest of the song itself sounds comforting. I mean, it's a soothing, almost sad song, but it's not comforting, even though it says there. The tune is kind of nice. And then it gets to the interlude where he sings, just a moment ago you heard the there, and it's the least comforting part of the whole song, because the song just gets, it gets heavier right there, and it's funny that when he finally says there, it's, you've been set up like, is this really comforting? Is this really comforting? And then the there, oh no, it's not comforting. You're just saying there. It's good. There, and then it eases out. That whole crescendo after the interlude, after he says there, the rest of it is that build up. Johnny Greenwood cuts out with the toms. Ed O'Brien continues, and more guitar comes in, and it just gets a much heavier sound. There's a lot of talk about what this song is about, and I've got to say, and I'll say it over and over again, I don't care most of the time, because I like the music of Radiohead, and I think Tom York's voice is stronger as another instrument. I know that the lyrics are awesome, and anytime you learn one of their songs and you appreciate all the music and you finally go back and look at the lyrics, it's like an awakening, like, oh, that's what they're saying, that's awesome. But I like to think of Tom York as that voice as just another instrument. I asked my younger children, who are children, to listen to this song and then draw a picture inspired by the song. My son, you can't see this very well. He'll need to use more color. But he said it was a love song. With a heart around it. It actually says love song. And he said it reminds him of skies, happiness, and guitar. And there's a happy face and a frowny face, and then the heart over the love song. My daughter, that is not a picture of a man being hanged, and that's important to point out because we wouldn't approve of that on here. That line goes all the way through that person down to the bottom. So it's a person who she drew a starry sky. She started to color the sky, and of course it was crayons. So she got to the point she realized, I'm going to be here all day coloring the sky. So you get it. She did ask me particularly what the lyrics were, but I didn't want to tell her. I just wanted it to be straight up her inspirations. And they're going to help us out with the interpretation of some of these songs, because the interpretation is open for everybody. Going back to what I was saying before, what this song is about. I know a lot of people have said it's about finding God or thinking you found God, but it's really just an illusion. That might be what it's about, but you know, I get to interpret it the way I want to, and I don't hear it that way. I hear it about stay away from all illusion. That all things could trick you. Branches that trip you, sirens calling you to shipwreck, a walking disaster. Just because you feel it doesn't mean it's there. And that's, I think, maybe they did mean something about religion. Maybe they mean something about relationships. Who cares? It's a beautiful sounding song, and you can apply it to a lot of things. And the meaning, it's just a beautiful song. If you use your own interpretation. I will never try to say what I think Radiohead was thinking, but I think they want you to use your own interpretation. Also, this song is mixed beautifully. They had been playing it since about the Kid A time period, about 2000, and they never really got it down the way they wanted it. That happens a lot with Radiohead songs that they even took on the road and played live, and they just couldn't get the mix right when they recorded it. And this one, Tom York mentions a couple of times as a completely moving experience when he finally heard Nigel Godrich mix it, and he heard the recording, and he actually said it moved him to tears. This one was huge. It finally sounded exactly how he wanted it to sound. So that's why Nigel is so important in the making of Radiohead music. So, Gen Z, You've got a scale.
My scale is 1 to 10. The 1 is I hate it. The 3 is it could be worse, but it's still pretty bad. The 5 is just an average song. The 7 is it's good, but I would not add it to my playlist. And then 10 is it contributes to your hypothesis of Radiohead is the best band ever. And then obviously there's I could use 2s and 8s and whatever.
If we get a lot of 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s, then the truth is I'm right. What do you give There, the Bony King of Nowhere?
Probably a 7 because it's a good song, and if I did add it to a playlist, then I will listen to it for a while, but it's just going to be one of those songs that I will skip after hearing what the song is because it's not as interesting enough that I would like to listen to it a lot.
I see what you're saying. I understand you're wrong, and that's fine. You can be wrong. But if you had this on your playlist and you immediately, you were just driving in your car and you heard the doo, 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 right off the bat, you'd be like, you might even reach for the next button and then you'd be like, no.
I might listen to the first chorus.
I'm not skipping this song.
I might listen to the first verse and the first chorus, but I would not listen to the whole song.
But then halfway through that, you'd be like, you know what? If I don't keep listening to this, I'm not going to hear that awesome part where he goes up in that just because you feel it in the second chorus when he does the...
Yeah, I don't think I'll remember that part.
You'll remember.
No, I won't.
And then you'll get to that and you're like, no, I want to hear the there. I want to hear him say there. And then when you hear like, oh yeah, it builds up. More crescendo. I want to hear the full crescendo. Before you know it, 5 minutes has gone by. And you've enjoyed that 5 minutes because you just listened to
There.
Yeah, no way. It's a beautiful song. As always, tell us what you think. Please, even if there's no comments, we're gonna see if we can get 15 views on this video.
That will be.
Then I can retire. Comment. Tell us what you think of there. Look it up yourself, play it yourself, listen to the whole song. Give us a little bit of breakdown of what you heard. If you agreed with what we said, if you agree with Jacob's score. Otherwise, please like, share, subscribe, comment below.
Yep. Anything that is good, you guys should do it.
Yes.
Just anything that is good.
Anything that is good. Love one another. Keep listening to music together. Catch you next time.
This has been the 15th floor.
That's true.